Hello, today's date is the 11th of the 11th, 2020. This is an emergency podcast. Yesterday I went to see the pelvic physio. I've not seen the pelvic physio since February of this year due to the coronavirus. So it's been a very long time. Her first comments were that I was like a new man. She couldn't believe the differences in me. And I basically started to lecture her on the theories of that the pelvic floor is responding to tension elsewhere, and how I've literally isolated the issues to my left glute, which is uninhibited, and how I've literally broke down all as much as I can the tension elsewhere using resistant stretching. And she said, well, it's obviously working for you. And I became quite frustrated, to be honest, because I spoke about to her the theories of biotensegrity, how the body needs to be in a state of homeostasis. The tension has to be equally distributed, and that breathing exercises is not bloody going to correct this, And God, it's frustrating. And she agreed with me that obviously if my left glute is an issue here, then I need to do some strength building work. And I mentioned that I was trying to isometrically get that muscle to fire up, but was struggling, and I've tried clams and bridges, and she didn't agree that was a good exercise to try and activate the glute, and suggested I do some forward bends and dumbbell deadlifts. Which I'm happy to try, but I've come a long way on this course, and going back to when I started, it's coming up to nearly a year by the end of the month. And when I started this program, the pain down my legs was a 10 out of 10. It's now pretty much 0. I had debilitating coccyx pain, 10 out of 10. That's now 0. Spasms post defecation, that was 10 out of 10. It's probably now about a 5. Still there, it's still working on, and I do believe that glute is a major issue and why it's going into spasm. Feeling the sense of needing to wee all the time, that was a 10 out of 10. It's probably about a 4 out of 10 now. When I started, I couldn't walk, or not very well, whereas I can now walk. And if anyone has seen one of my previous videos where I was wearing that Ghostbusters uniform, well, 2 weeks after I filmed that, I couldn't even drive, I couldn't even walk, and I was looking at being signed off work for a very long time. In fact, I was off work for about 2 months and ended up having surgery, which didn't correct the issue but did help. So yeah, that's where my body is at the moment. And I mentioned to her that something I'd come up with myself. And if you look at the pelvic floor as being in comparison to a boat, why a boat floats on the sea, and the reason the boat floats on the sea is it displaces the water, because the water underneath is pushing in all directions, but the boat has a higher, greater buoyancy as it displaces the water, so that the pressure, that the forces underneath are greater than what the boat can achieve. So the boat doesn't sink because it can't overcome that force unless you fill the boat up with water, takes on water, it sinks. And it's like that with the pelvic floor, really, in that there's the tension from the surrounding muscles has been changed. So basically the pelvic floor, like the boat, is basically sinking, and we want that boat to be floating again. We want the pelvic floor to be in its proper position again, by altering all these different muscles all around it. And you will not achieve this with breathing exercises. Right, let's get it out of the way, because it really frustrates me, it really does. I've literally been through hell and back with my body trying to resolve this, been dismissed by so many people. And today's Remembrance Day, the 11th of the 11th, and my great-grandfather was in World War I. He served in the Battle of Ypres in the trenches. And I tell you what, I would rather have swapped places with him than go through what I have in my body, because that's how horrific my symptoms were. And to think I can now walk and do all these things, you know, and I'm building, trying to correct all these dysfunctions in the body to get this body back to being the best it possibly can. So yeah, that's just an update. I'm due to go and see the pelvic physio again in 4 months' time, when hopefully I'll give you another update on what she says. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.